thanks for tuning in for today. I sure appreciate it. I really do. You know, today I want to talk about the C4, and from talking to some of the people who own the C4 and get some of their complaints. Now, the complaints being things that they probably would rather change or wish they weren't that way. It's not complaints that are deal breakers. When I went through to find out for this video, I wanted to talk to as many people and get as much information of redundant things where the same people or different people dislike the same thing about the Corvette. It bothered them. Now, I went through a lot of people and they all complained about something that I put together to make this video, but they all had one thing in common. They love the C4 and there's no deal breakers and they wouldn't change it for the life of them. But they would like to make a couple changes on some of these things that they deal with, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's what we're going to talk about to keep this in the right frame. This first one was turning radius. Many of them felt that the turning radius on it was not as sharp as they had expected it to be to get around corners, or not so much driving corners, but to be able to turn around. Let's say, then I realize that's the case because you can be in the street, regular side street, and you can't make necessarily a straight around turn. You're going to have to use reverse in there somewhere to get going back the other way. So there's a point to that for sure. Cup holders, you know. That's not surprising because cup holders are a problem in today's cars. You never have enough, or never have them deep enough, never hold everything. That's always a problem. I don't think it's went away completely, and it's a regular advertising promotion of cars today. Now the C4 has barely what you would call a cup holder. But you know, you can get around the cup holders if you get the right cup that fits in the cup holder, that fits in there snug and won't fall out and won't end up in your lap. I like to go in the morning. I like to go in the early morning, or I want to have a cup of coffee, go for a ride in the vet. Beautiful time. The air is cool. It's great. So I want that cup of coffee. So it's important to find the right cup. You know, another thing was the glove compartment, if you want to call it that. We really don't have what you'd call a glove compartment. What we have is, I call it a elbow console that opens up. It's kind of like a glove compartment because you can put stuff in there that you would put in a glove compartment, like, you know, your registration and any of that you would need for the car. Now, you do have the two boxes in the back. That's kind of nice, but they're not necessarily reach around. And there you go, pull the things out and put things in. They're kind of clumsy to get to, so you have to make a point of it for sure. Now here's one that's kind of interesting, airflow. There was a lot of complaints about the airflow. And I understand that because the airflow in the actual car, when you're driving with the windows down, is really a turmoil more than it is actually a flow. Now, and that can be a problem. You can get things, I know I've had things actually float around. It wasn't tied down in the back because of that airflow. Now, I know you're going to say, well, you can get those spacers that go back on your hatch and hold your hatch up about 2 or 3 inches to help exhaust that. Well, I had that, and it kind of worked, a little bit worked, maybe it didn't work at all, that kind of thing. I didn't find a need for it, that it would work that well to be able to leave it on all the time or often. But I do know that when I did have that on, I could hear my exhaust a little better, so that's a plus. That's a plus for sure. People complained about the interior lighting. They didn't think it was very bright or very kind of nostalgic more than it was actually clean and dim, and the whole car seemed a little older when you get in and out. But you can put bigger LEDs or brighter LED lights in it and kind of cheer it up inside. Or some guys put color LEDs in it and maybe make the interior looking pretty slick. And that's always an option too. Feet room. There's no room for your feet. Oh, that is the truth. There's actually no room for a general foot-sized shoe. Now, if you had size 13s, you're going to get one on top of the other because it's only about 8 to 9 inches of space for your feet on the passenger side for sure, and a little more on the driver's side because of the clutch and brake and so forth. But it is tight. That kind of comes with the car. We kind of have to accept that because once we get in there, we're fine. We got no problem. But where we put our feet can be an issue, particularly for a passenger. I think that's really, really tight. Rattles and clunks. Interesting. There is rattles and clunks. I think out of the showroom, one of the complaints in 1984 was the rattles and clunks in the car. And it probably didn't change really too much. Even in the 90s, it got better for sure. But one of the things we kind of have to remember, there is so much plastic in this. which I hate to say, but there's a lot of plastic inside our cars. And one of the big things happen is that moves, makes scratches, makes noise. And one of the mistakes that we make by tightening things up, we go around, it's almost all the plastic is almost all screwed on, and we may go around and tighten that up, and we tighten a little bit too tight, it gets a little crack. The plastic's old, it's very brittle. So if you ever do that, you got to be very cautious at how much you tighten it. Yeah, but there is some interior noise in most cases. You know, I'm pretty lucky. Mine's fairly quiet, or I'm starting to lose my hearing, but the combination works out good. Targa top complaints. It's not the complaint of the Targa top, it's the complaint of getting it on and off and how much work you gotta have to do. It's no quick, easy thing, pop it on, pop it off. You gotta use bolts, you gotta use a wrench. Yeah, that's a hassle. There's no question about it, and it could have been done a different way. But as C4 owners, we know why it's like that, and it's because of they had to make the structure strong. It had to be part of the structure of the car. And when they made the Targa top, it had a framework that was part of the car. So it can't just snap on. It's got to be bolted down and bolted down hard, and that's why it's there. So we got to put up with it. It's not easy, not quick, but we can do it. And once you get used to it, it's not an issue really at all. The next one is an issue. I get a kick out of it because I understand it. And when you see C4 Corvette owner, the first time they buy one, the first time they drive it, the first time they let it idle, it gets hot. We are so used to our temperatures being 190, 180, even we get thermostats that are 165 in the cars of the past. That's not it with the C4. The C4 is made to run at high temperatures, made to run at 220, 225, and the next thing you know, your fans will come on and bring it down to 200 or even lower, depending on the outside situation and the air and the cool. But they're made to run hot. Now that's a hard concept for us old timers to first to get over. We just don't want it to be that way. So guys will go ahead and they'll make fans, extra fans, or put electrically change it so you turn on the ignition, the fans go on directly, they run all the time. Does that work? Yeah, I suppose it does. It does keep it cool, but it's wrong. And you got to be really careful when you start messing with the wires in there. You know, it just could screw things up in other ways. The computer is supposed to take care of that. So make sure the computer does take care of that. But what you can do to make it cool is keep debris out from underneath the car. Keep the radiator as clean as possible. Keep all that stuff and debris that gets in there. That's what hurts it more than anything else, is not having a clear path to get to the radiator. So keep that in mind first. The last thing, the biggest thing. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you already know what it is. But the important part of it is the complaint that everybody has because it's so hard to get in and out of it. But think about it. This car already is on the ground. You almost have to lay down to get into it. Yes, that's true. You almost have to lay down to get into it because it is so low. But once you get into it, it is really slick. Now I'll leave my video here that we did on the #1 complaint, which is getting in and out of the C4. And you can see from the video that, yeah, there's ways to get in it and there's ways to get out. You have to find your way to get in it and get out of it comfortably, because once you're in it, that's where the magic is. That's what makes you feel so good, is getting in it, sitting that low, and you can't do it any other ways than if your car sits low to begin with. And we're used to minivans and trucks, so this sits really low compared to that. Well, that's the #1. I hope you got a kick out of the C4 Corvette owners' complaints. Well, not even a big complaints, just to say things they're less liked about it. And we went through just about everything. Now there's probably more, and there's probably things that you're thinking of about your C4 that should be on the list, and put it on the comments. I'd love to hear some of your complaints that you like, and I'd like to hear some of your positives. So until next time, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you then.